Hi guys, welcome to week 6 of Comp 1. We're just finishing up a unit on Food Inc. as we treated that as our text because like I said, it's really helpful sometimes, and we'll do this later this semester too, to look at not just the printed word as a text, but a video, a documentary that's trying to persuade us to think a certain way or to do something. Later in the semester, we'll look at commercials and campaign ads that do the same thing. And if we try to dissect those as we do, as we dissect texts and look for rhetorical appeals and logical fallacies, it makes us much better consumers of information around us. And it also trains us to be better writers, which is our main goal in Comp 1. I want you to be better thinkers and better writers. So for the next couple of weeks, we will be digging into some kind of very important, I would say, texts from history. This week, we're looking at Letter from Birmingham Jail by Martin Luther King Jr. And if you've read it before for another class, okay, you have a leg up since you've read it before, but you need to read it again and look at it with fresh eyes. Anytime you're assigned anything in a class that you've read in another class, it's really important to reread it, because even if it was just last semester, you are different now than you were then, and you'll find new things. So this week we're going to be dealing with Letter from Birmingham Jail. I've linked a short video giving you kind of the historical context of it, and then I gave you a few different versions of it. One, the link that has Call to Unity and Letter from Birmingham Jail, I want you to definitely use that to read Call to Unity, the letter from the clergyman that King was responding to in his letter from Birmingham Jail. I gave you a link that's very kind of plain that you can print off, so you can work from that. And then I also gave you a link that includes annotations, so you will see bold words within the speech, and you can click on it and find the definition as a footnote. And I just really like that site because it kind of visually shows you what you should be thinking about doing as you take notes in your text. So if there's a word that needs definition, you know, look it up, mark down in your, on the side of the text, mark down what it means, and that really helps you become better readers. So it's important to always read with a pen by your hand, and that's why I ask you to print out the one copy so you can really read it and dig into it. The Call to Unity is very short, it's just one page, so I just want you to read that through. But then I want you to really deep read the Letter from Birmingham Jail. This is one of the just classic examples of rhetoric. And we'll talk more next week because this assignment is going to kind of feed into week 7 as well, about the ethos and pathos and logos in this letter. So that's one thing that you might want to mark. You might want to use that site that gives hyperlinks to jot down some definitions in the margins of the paper that you print out, but really just practice close, deep reading. And think also about the fact that it is a lengthy letter that he's writing from his prison cell. And oftentimes, if we feel a certain way at the end of a reading experience, that typically means something. So oftentimes students will tell me, oh my gosh, it just went on, or it just took forever to write, or he said so much. And he wanted to do that. He wanted to show that he was imprisoned, he had the time to do that and think about it, and he probably wanted us to feel a little overwhelmed and exhausted. So always think about that as you read. Because we talk about, you know, the 3 rhetorical appeals, ethos, pathos, and logos, and we also talk about the other set of 3, the rhetorical situation, the subject, the writer, the speaker, and the audience. That's something else to always be thinking about as you read closely. Your quiz this week is over MLA citation and Letter from Birmingham Jail. So you have just a brief short essay prompt about Letter from Birmingham Jail, and I expect you to quote the text in a great quotes into your answer and cite them properly. So since we don't really have page numbers for the printout, you would just, in parentheses, put King. So just get in the habit of doing that. And then the other quiz question, I give you 3 sources, basically. Your Sound Ideas textbook, the film Food Inc., which you have the information about that from last week's assignment, and Letter from Birmingham Jail, which you have a little less information about, and that's fine. You'll just work with what you have. But with those 3 sources, craft a works cited page as best as you can in the quiz, and just again, to get in the practice of doing that. And use your Little Brown Handbook. Use it. I can't stress that enough. And there's one more thing. Okay. Oh, on the discussion forum, go in there and all you have is some questions, some prompts over Call Unity and Letter from Birmingham Jail. So go over those and again, start practicing quoting the text and using in-text citations, which in this case, again, just do the best you can without page numbers. I just want you to kind of get your feet wet and warm up to start getting in the habit of doing that. I will be working on grading your Food Inc. assignments in the next week or so. And then next week, again, I'll ask you to hang on to Letter from Birmingham Jail. We'll be doing something with that. And then we'll have 2 more famous speeches that you'll be reading, one by Martin Luther King Jr. and one by Malcolm X. And we will do a comparative analysis of those 2 and look at the rhetorical appeals and, again, practice some of these analytical skills that you started working on. So that's what's coming up. The next couple of weeks, especially next week, week 7, might feel a little light because in my in-person classes, I'm going to a conference late next week, and then I have to be in Jeff City the Wednesday after, so those classes get the day off. They're still going to have to be doing work and reading, but I always like to kind of keep things fair, I guess. So you'll be doing a lot of reading and starting to work on a big writing project, but I won't be as plugged in as normal, so I won't expect quite as much from you. So just keep your eyes open, look for due dates, and please email me if you have any questions or concerns. For my normal classes, I sometimes don't answer emails at night or on the weekend, but for you guys, I try to answer emails as quickly as they come in. So let me know if you need anything, and have a great week.